Hey there, Mrs. Wecker here. I'm here today to talk about conflict. We're going to take a few notes and find out what conflict is all about. So get your note sheet and get ready to write down some notes today really fast. We're going to start at the top and talk about two different kinds of conflict, okay? You have your internal conflict, and you have your external conflict. In any short story, you're always going to have conflict, or you don't have much of a story. And when we've talked about the stories that we've read in class so far, sometimes we have a mixture of different types of conflict, so it's really important that we review these, okay? Internal conflict is any kind of conflict that you're going to have that comes from inside of the character, and the character is going to need to make some kind of a decision or a choice, and usually it's going to have big implications for what's going to come next in the story, okay? So that's internal conflict, so we're going to write down that for our definition. So we're going to write down that it happens inside the character, and we're going to write that the character is making a choice or a decision. Now, when the character is doing this, it's going to change the shape of what the story is going to look like always, okay? This is very different than external conflict. External conflict, the character doesn't have any control of. They don't get to make any decisions. It just happens to them. And that's what we're going to write down for this. So this, it just happens to the character. And they don't get to choose. They have no control. So in that instance, it's just they have to deal with what the fallout is of whatever happens. The next part of what you have to do is an example of each of these. If you have an example already that you'd like to do on your own, you can go ahead and stop the video now and you can put your own examples down. If you want to look at what my examples are, continue to roll, or you can pause and try, and then you could come back and look, okay? So what I would think about when I put down an internal conflict, I always think about your conscience and how you have that good guy here that says, do the right thing, listen to your parents, or, do what's best for you, make the healthy choice, that type of thing. Or over here, you've got that little bad guy that says, do what's fun, it doesn't matter, you don't need to listen to them. So I kind of think about it like your conscience on your shoulders. So for this one, I kind of think about the example as your conscience on your shoulders. And then I might try, you know me, I'm not a very good artist, but I might try to draw a picture of myself and have one guy over here that's good and one guy over here that's bad. So I can have a visual representation of what that looks like, okay? Over here, for the external conflict, when I think about that, I'm always going to want to think about just anything that might happen to me that might pose a problem or cause me an issue that I have no control over. And one of the first things that comes to my mind is like weather, for instance. So when I go to the park and it starts to rain on my picnic. So I think that's what I'm going to write for this one. Or one time I was having a picnic with my son and we were trying to eat, and these bees, carpenter bees that don't sting you, but they dive bomb you to get you away from their nests and stuff. They were dive bombing us while we were trying to eat, and it just made it uncomfortable to where we had to actually leave our picnic. So it could be anything like that that kind of ruins a time, poses a problem, causes a conflict, and you don't get to choose. So this is what conflict is. Sometimes one type of conflict can breed another kind in a piece. Sometimes you have more than one. So we're going to be applying this to some of the pieces that we've been talking about, particularly with short stories. And when you write your own short story, you want to make sure you have some kind of a conflict in there. Otherwise, your story will seem really boring. And you don't want to write a boring story. You want to write something that you're proud of. See you next time in Weckerville. Bye.